Like, can I actually do it? Because if you aren't going to be able to handle it, like, let me know, because I don't want to do anything that will hurt him.
What's your response to that?
I don't know. Like, it's a different situation because um I don't like it's like you said. I don't know how serious we are about it. Like, this is not something that like we're serious enough to like look into it and talk about it and stuff like that. But it's not serious. We're like we've been discussing it for 12 months straight and like really trying to make
But
steps
would it
progressive
take
towards it.
12 months straight in order to jump into it?
No, no, but I don't think it's uh
Listen, hey guys, welcome to Little Black But Another One. You may not understand what's going on. So this video here popped up on my feed a few days ago, and I was like, I need to review it. And basically, Swaggy and Bailey, they've been married for I think about 2-3 years now, and very young couple as well. I think they're now what 26, 25. But they're talking about open relationship or open marriage on this point. Okay, so that's the context of this conversation, right? And I've titled this video "She is Emotionally Wounded, but is using an open relationship to cover it." And the reason why I did that is because once I started listening, I got to this point in the video, and I haven't even watched the whole thing, but I got to this point in the video, and I said, well, if the reasons for why she wants to have an open marriage are what she's stating here, it's not because she wants an open marriage. It's because she's not dealing with the emotional wounds that she has. And very oftentimes people are carrying trauma and they carry it in such a way that it's their normal dysfunction becoming functional. And they can't tell the difference between the two, their dysfunction and their functionality. And because that's happening to them, their decision making becomes as such from a place of an emotional wounded place. So her wanting an open relationship where when I watched the video, he's open to it, but he's not really wanting to do it. She's more wanting to make it happen, but there's an inconsistency in her attempts of trying to push that narrative through. And there's a whole lot more to this conversation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a whole live tomorrow on this whole thing, and we'll talk about it at lunchtime and break it down, because this was a real conversation we need to have. But at this point here, baby, it's real right now. You know, it's real right now. Let's have a look.
effective to talk about it all in January, and then you come to me in February and say I don't need it no more, I don't want it, I just want you, and then March we don't talk about it, and
So
then
the back and forth is what's throwing you off.
yeah, I think it's more so that because it's like again, like I said, January we talk about it, February you say you don't need it, you don't want it no more, you just want me. Then March we don't talk about it. Then in April we talk about it again. It's like she'll come to me randomly, and not randomly, but like after we have an amazing date or an amazing trip or amazing sex or amazing something, and say she doesn't need it no more, doesn't want it anymore, and I'll like agree and say that same sentiment, and we'll really like feel that and believe that, and then 2 months later it'll like resurface. So it's more so that it's not like my response is why she'll say, oh, I don't want it no more. No, it's because we have like an amazing time together doing something or something that reminds us of like our foundation, and then it kind of goes from that.
And
Listen, and what's interesting, okay, I don't know if you noticed that as well. Her hand touched his leg. She wanted to take over the conversation. I wish she let him finish all his points out and let him get to his rounded point, but she doesn't let him do that oftentimes. So it's giving Will and Jada. But anyway, listen, look, real spit. So what he just described there, for me, it's emotional wound. Because if she consistently keeps asking for an open relationship, but only when it's no longer good anymore, and she stops asking when things are good, then it's not nothing to do with her actually wanting an open relationship, and to do with the fact that she's wounded. It's to do with the fact that she feels her emotional needs are not being met. Her physical needs are not being met. Her mental needs are not being met. Something's not being met. And instead of actually less deep diving and figuring out the core issue as to why you feel the way you feel, we're trying to use an open relationship as a way to solve the issue we're facing. And the issue isn't going to get solved because your deficiency in what you're feeling and wanting won't be solved by another person being added, because they will add further deficiencies, because the deficiency is within you, not in the other person. But let's play a little bit more and continue.
another thing is this. So when I was originally telling you about, like, we're good right now and we have a baby, newborn, sex after a baby is the best ever. It's more like a temporary high, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I think we can stay in this place forever, and I don't want to ruin the space that we're in because it's amazing.
Pause. See? What is she talking about here? What, it could be a temporary high, or I don't want to ruin the place that we're at right now. So you only want to propose this issue when things are rocky. Does that make sense? You're basically saying you want to quit basically what you're really saying is when it gets hard, I want to quit. That's the honest reality of this situation. And that's a self-sabotaging tactic. The reality is you don't feel safe emotionally. The reality is we haven't dealt with your attachment issues. I'm probably guessing this sounds a bit like somebody who may be either, anxious, avoidant, and the constant need for reassurance and validation and assurances is what she actually needs. Now, the backstory of this whole situation is he started working a hell of a lot to make money because she wanted him to. But that's another story. We have to do a whole live tomorrow and do the whole full background. And you got to watch it. Turn up 1:30 p.m. UK time, but it'll be for you Americans. It'll be 7:30 CST and 8:30 EST. But reality is that this situation, she's talking about how now I don't want to ruin the high that we've got. Why? If this is your truest thoughts and feelings, why don't you want to ruin the high? You want to wait till you get down to bottom again and then mention about having an open relationship. This is based on your emotions. It's based on how you feel. This isn't a true essence of what you actually want.
But down the line, or like a month or off month, where I'm like, oh, I can revisit it again. I don't want that to be offensive towards him, or I don't want to be like, if we have a great month the next month and I'm completely obsessed with you, does that mean that it's off the table? Like, it's just a back and forth thing, because I do feel like he's enough and I want to constantly reassure him that he's enough, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't take more.
Yes, I can kind of see from both perspectives. I'm not a therapist, and like I'm just a fellow
person.
But that doesn't mean you would take more from the situation. It's alarming at the moment. Okay, so listen. By all means, she's saying that he is. Listen to what you're saying. It's a contradictory statement. I believe he's enough, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't take more. So, is he enough, or do you want to take more? Because you keep bringing it up. So, do you want to take more, or is he enough? Which one is it? Now, I know, of course, we are human beings and we are complex, and we can have juxtaposition cognitive dissonance. It's real. So she can hold two opposing views. She generally could, right? So I'm not trying to break her down for that. She generally could feel like he's enough, but want more, right? The reality is, though, in this instance of cognitive dissonance that we're seeing, or paradoxical thinking, is that the themes are juxtaposed. And so when you're saying about, you could take more, in what instance? I think this is where we need to qualify. In what instance could we improve what we already have? Because when you're good, you're good. When we're bad, you're not good, and suddenly you want more. So it doesn't sound like there needs to be improvement almost, but actually the reality is there needs to be improvement, because there needs to be communication on actually what you actually want. Why is it that when it and here again, why is it when it gets down to a dip that suddenly you crave for more? That's what I'm saying to you about the emotional wound there. It's screaming out. So as soon as it's not good, you're not feeling safe. You're not feeling like he wants you. You're not feeling like he desires you. You're not feeling like he actually covets you. There's some kind of feeling that's deeply down below that you're feeling like maybe he might abandon you, that he might walk away, that his feelings might change. There is these feelings that are happening underneath the surface that are not really being spoken about, but we're trying to cover it with, when we get low, that I could want more. What do you mean by more? Another guy? Another girl? To give you the attention that you desire? We're not dealing with the emotional wounds right now.
fellow consensual non-monogamist, in theory.
Mm-hmm. There we go. We got a new club. Yeah.
CNM.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how he's not laughing? As much as he may say he's comfortable with it, he's not. And I'm telling you now, she's gonna open that door and she's gonna regret it. If she doesn't open relationship, she's gonna open it and regret it. I'm telling you. It won't work well.
Yes.
That I can empathize. If I put myself in your guys' shoes, I'd be like, not knowing how you feel, if I was partnered with you, not knowing how you felt about it would not allow me to really explore it. And it would dissuade me from bringing it up that often until it felt like it was a dire need, because I know that it might trigger you and I don't want to make you unhappy. But on the flip side, if we were connected and I felt like when I'm good, it's not on the table, but when I'm not that great, it all of a sudden comes back up, would make me feel like, well, let me just keep trying harder to please you. And then it would feel like consensual non-monogamy is a punishment versus like an expansion of what we do joyfully together.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're actually on?
Ooh, that was a breakdown. Shanboody came with a breakdown. And I want to end on this point. I don't want to take away from what she said, because it's beautiful, that point. I would love to. It's not just a punishment. It's a you're gonna have to get in line. It's a power move. It's in some sense it becomes manipulative. So as soon as we're not good, and it creates the people pleasing aspect of an individual in your partner. When we're not good, you're going to tell me basically you're out the door. It's manipulative. That's what we have to really call it. Now, of course, we don't want to put it that way because we want to make it sweet. But the reality is it becomes manipulative. When we're not good, I'm going to let you know, hey, I'm out the door. I'm ready to explore more people. If I'm good enough, I'm good in the bad and I'm good in the good. That's what I'm saying to you about the juxtaposition and cognitive dissonance. If I'm good in bad and I'm good when we're good. Right? When we're high, I'm good. When we're bad, you still see me as enough. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. We'll be live tomorrow talking about this subject at 1:30 and in the afternoon for UK time, but 8:30 a.m. in the morning for Americans, EST, 7:30 CST for them for you in America Central Time. Much appreciation. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked. Stay loaded. You know what time it is.